You're listening to Beyond the Metagame, a podcast where two experienced competitive Super Smash Bros. Players look beyond the controller to analyze and break down the unspoken psychological framework of the competitive scene. Welcome, broadcasting to the entirety of the Super Smash Bros. Community. This is Beyond the Metagame. I'm your host, Peon, this week live from a music store. I'm joined, as always, by wonderful co-host, Abhi. Abhi, how is it going, big boy?
Dude, you know, like, there's this thing called love languages, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so one of the
I speak several.
You speak several. But one of the things that I said to my girlfriend when we first started dating was that one of my love languages is flexing on people at Guitar Center. And she has that quoted down somewhere. But
so you are a musician, right? And I am too. Here's my bass guitar in the background for all the people on YouTube. And I look, you're a maestro. You're a real prodigy. I'm just a guy with a bass. You know, there's levels to this, but as a musician, I can empathize with the idea of going to a music store and all these little novices are picking out their bass. Meanwhile, you're just shredding in the corner. Like this is like one day this all will be yours. You know, you're sort of this wise guru in the corner, stroking your long and developed facial hair.
Everything that the light touches is yours. Eventually, once you practice.
So what do you do? You know, how do you flex? Like, what's this?
But here's the really funny part. The thing is that drumming is one of those things. It's like, I hate saying this, but it's like you either are there or you're not. like that. It's not like.
Are you gatekeeping percussion? Is that?
Yes, yes, I am. But I'm not. Okay. I'm not gatekeeping it. I'm saying like, society gatekeeps drumming in the sense that like, if you're on beat and you're in time, everyone thinks you're good. It doesn't matter how complex you're playing. If you're in time and you're setting time correctly, and then every now and then you do something complex, you're good. If you're not in time, it's just like the equivalent of like someone going out of key, like a vocalist going out of key, or like a guitarist playing out of key. Like it's like so like
yeah.
It is so the thing is that if you play in time and you play some like really cool shit at Guitar Center, like that's already like you're already in like the 95%.
But okay, if you're just alone on drums, aren't you always in time? Like, aren't you just whatever rhythm you're playing at is correct if you're not accompanied by anyone, right?
That's not true. Like if you have like an internal metronome, okay, let's say
yeah, but that's internal, right? No one else knows that. If I'm just watching you bang on some drums, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, you just have to sound like you're in time, you know? Like you can't be all over the place. Like
okay,
yeah. So
that's the thing. I'm not a drummer, AV. I'm not. I do like drumsticks, but only the ones you can eat. But I feel like if I were to have a couple of real, percussive drumsticks, I would just start ripping away. I would just start slapping the skins I'll slap some skin, AV. Just not on a snare per se. I would like to be e-snared. E-snared? Is that a verb? To be e-snared?
Ensnared.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been a while, Abhi. I'm a little rusty this whole podcasting thing, and because we've been taking let's be honest, man, it's been a bit of a break. We haven't recorded. I don't think we recorded an episode throughout the entire month of September. Okay, usually we take a gap in between a season, right? Between seasons 3, 4, 2, 1. Those are the other ones. Now we're on season 6, man. It's been a long time. This is over 2 years of Beyond the Metagame. We took a break. Now we're back, baby, and we're better than ever. It's great to record with you, man. Honestly, I'm having a lot of fun already.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because like this not being a part of my life has, I think it's taken some parts away in terms of like the happiness of the work week. It's more like this always kind of broke it up for me, you know. It was a really cool thing. It's like we get together, we think of an idea, and we just like, all right, we like shoot the shit talking about like introspections. Like, can you shoot the shit and talk about introspection at the same time? Is that like is that a thing that's possible?
I think we've proven over 5 long and grueling seasons that it is possible.
That's good.
And what has brought us back together, Abby, what's really gotten us back on the bowl is the announcement of the character Steve. Okay, and I want to get into exactly what our thoughts are on the character, who we think could benefit from playing, this character. Obviously, the character isn't out yet. It's going to be a lot of speculation around, a lot of reaction, a lot of emotion, I would say, more so than any concrete data at this point. But I'm excited to really dig deep and pick your brain, all things Steve, in just one moment. But before we get there, I do want to invite the listeners to check out the Beyond the Metagame Discord. And you can do so in the show notes of this podcast, whatever app you use, or in the YouTube description, or you can go on the beyondthemetagame.com website, right, and you can join the Discord there. It's a little hard to find. It's a little exclusive. It's kind of like, you're at a bar, you're in a seedy tavern, and whoa, there's a bookshelf. And you pull back the bookshelf. It's like the book of Joshua from the Old Testament. You pull it back, a chamber appears. It's like another bar within the bar. These are all the babes are hanging out. All these guys it's like they're smoking cigar number 2. That's kind of the Beyond the Metagame Discord. It's a bit of an exclusive club, but you know what? It's well worth the encumbrance of admission because the people there are really cool. A lot of like-minded smashers trying to get better at the game, trying to get some matches and play with each other, but also just to kick back, talk about the game from a learning perspective, and just all around have a good time. A lot of good people there.
I really like the aesthetic of a Smash speakeasy. Like you're in a city and you it's like, let's just say like Smash was illegal. It's like you give someone the password and you're just in like some really seedy alley and it's like you come in, you go to a bar and you pull back like the bookshelf, you see a bunch of Smash setups and it's like
now like any time you get a bunch of Smashers together and you want to like have something that isn't Smash.
Yeah.
It's just people talking about wanting to play Smash. So this is the horrible thing about the one critique I have of the Smash community at large is that you get like 15 Smashers together. The only thing that they will do is play Smash. You can, hey guys, let's go to the park. Everybody's eating lunch. Like, yeah, so Samus is pretty good against Falco.
Yeah,
like, always have it. It's
oh my god!
Like, no matter what, you can't talk about anything else.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's like you'll be eating your taco and it's like you'll be like putting your limes, your salsa, your onions, like maybe like some radish if you're kind of spicy with it. But it's like it's like some guys will like look at the lime. And it's like, did you know that Luigi is actually this exact lime colored, except it's like you're adding three ticks to the R spectrum on the RGS
was
dude,
I was like cracking up like the moment that a Smasher would see a lime and be like green. Yes, I think specifically Luigi players. Every Luigi player, like they will take their status as a Luigi main to the grave. I don't know what it is. They're so passionate about Luigi. What's up with that?
I feel like you have to be passionate about Luigi. Like if you. Like honestly, like when you go down like the path of it's like a deal with the devil, It's like you're allowed to do these ridiculous 0 to death combos every time, but then you lose a bit of your like soul, and you have to be like declare Luigi man for the rest of your life,
Yeah, I think that if you're gonna build your playstyle around a 0 to death combo, it's same thing with like Puff and Melee or Ices in Melee when wobbling was legal. You really have to just take ownership of it all.
Yeah.
You can't be like, oh, I'm embarrassed. You just kind of have to own it, right?
Have you ever seen a Luigi secondary? I don't think they
in my life.
If you exist, tell us, because that'll be a new one for me. So.
Well, awesome, man. Hey, let's jump into the Steve conversation. I want to hear all about your initial reactions to the announcement of Steve, and also I want to take a deep dive with you about the character's kit. And how we speculate their competitive viability to be. So all that and more in just 1 second. Welcome back to Beyond the Metagame. This week, AV and I are talking about Steve. Okay, no, not the guy from Blue's Clues. Okay, did that guy get fired? We're talking about Steve from Minecraft, a game I've not really played, AV. I wanted to start this discussion off, with asking you, what is your experience with the Minecraft franchise? Have you played a Minecraft? Well, not a Minecraft. I guess there are Minecraft Dungeons and Minecraft. And there's like Minecraft Stories. Okay, so it is a franchise, but let's talk about Minecraft itself. Have you played it?
I have a very cursory glance I've taken into the Minecraft franchise. It's not, I haven't like built these massive creations. I haven't really explored out the end game. I haven't fought the Ender Dragon. Sorry for spoilers, but I don't think some Minecraft spoilers matter in 2020. But like I haven't really like done the end game of Minecraft, but I've kind of like dabbled with it, but not. I'm definitely not like committed to the franchise by any means. I probably have like less than like 3 hours in the game.
Okay, and what were your thoughts about it? Did you like it? Well, like why? Because you're an engineer, Abhi, by trade. You are a thinker. You're a builder of sorts.
I am. So yeah, that's so what that like when I was born, like I was given the stamp as an Indian. Like every Indian actually is either like a doctor, lawyer, engineer, and like. And then they actually roll like a 3-sided die, and then you get like a stamp on your birth certificate.
And you got the big old capital E, which I thought meant erotic, but now I'm finding meant engineer. Well, yeah. So like my point is that you have that sort of creative mind where you're creative in the sense that you like to build things.
Yeah,
I'm creative too. But like, okay, so when you're a kid and you get, or when you're an adult, hey, who am I to judge? I'm an adult talking about Smash Bros. You get a Lego set. You either get like the Lego set where it's just like a bunch of blocks, or you get like, hey, this is how you build the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah,
like sort of the Bionicles, if anyone remembers those, esque, where you have to actually, it tells you how to build what you want to build. I was always that guy. Like, just give me the directions. I want to build Millennium Falcon. I don't want to like have to invent what I will need to build with the Legos. I just couldn't be bothered. And, if I were to guess, Abhi, and correct me if I'm wrong, you'd be the type of dude who just wants the blank canvas to make their own thing.
Yeah. I mean, I always kind of experimented with creating my own things. I mean, I'd say I'm pretty much in the middle. I'm not like the classic engineer that's made these like ridiculous, like automated, like farming, like simulators in Minecraft. Like I haven't gone really all the way. But I mean, in games like Stardew Valley and maybe Terraria, like I've definitely like spent a lot of time like doing similar stuff, but not Minecraft. For some reason, Minecraft never hooked me, but other games with similar elements have definitely hooked me. I think Subnautica is a really good example of a game that hooked me that way. Like creating your underwater base was a really really cool thing. But what about so you've always been someone who just likes following directions, but like complex directions, right? It's not I don't think you're just satisfied with just saying just like creating like the Lego house. You want something a little more, right? You want something more.
When I game, I need a bit of direction, right? Yeah. And so like it's something like Mario versus Zelda, the classic. Like let's keep it Nintendo for the sake of the audience. Like Mario, you just run to the right, or like in the 3D Mario games, you run and you collect the star. And I do like Zelda games too, because I feel like while they are more wide open, they do a good job giving you a carrot to chase, throughout the game. It is sort of linear, but you can explore and you can deviate from the path. So I like both types of games, but Minecraft for me was just too far in that direction of. I was playing the game. I'm like, where the hell do I go? I don't really want to build things. I went to my friend's creation, and he like built this gorgeous underground. There was like lava, or was it magma? I don't know. To shout out to my boy Sakurai. And
magma's underground, yeah.
Okay, so it was magma. This like awesome like underground. It looked like the Gringotts Bank from Harry Potter, if that rings a bell to you.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But I'm like, man, this is awesome. So what do? I start just burning that sucker down. I got like a torch.
Oh, and he's like, dude,
he's like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just burning your base down, dude. He's like, no, you don't do that. Like I worked hard on this. And then so we put out the flames, and he's like, yeah, you can't just burn other people's stuff. Because I thought that he could just rebuild it real quick. I was wrong. And the moment I found out I couldn't like just mess around and like break things and rebuild them, and I just lost interest in the game. I was like, yeah, I don't really.
Yeah, I call that griefing in the Minecraft community.
Yeah, I thought that we were like doing combat. I thought that was like, I just made a PvP game. I just wanted to fight. But yeah, so I couldn't. It didn't sink its teeth into me. I suppose that's what I'm getting at here. I was never a big Minecraft fan, and even honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I love minimalist art styles. I'm okay with Nintendo games. I also have a really high-powered gaming PC, and I love cranking up the graphics on AAA games. But I'm very satisfied. I'm playing through the Mario 3D All-Stars collection, and I'm playing like Super Mario 64. The game looks horrible, right? But it has a charm to it, and so I'm not like a graphics elitist by any means. That said, like the blockiness of Minecraft, I just never saw the charm, like the actual aesthetic of Steve. Steve, what did the little announcer try to say? Steve rocks in or rocks in the battle.
Rocks the block, yeah.
Rocks the block.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I don't think it's very charming, the art style. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so anyway, this is my prelude of saying I'm not really a Minecraft person. I know I get it's popular, but it never really resonated with me the way it seems to have with so many other fans.
Here's the thing. I kind of want to hear more of your opinions on on Steve actually himself. But the moment I saw him, I woke up, I'm super groggy. Like everyone's waking up at some ungodly time to watch this reveal every single time. I wake up and I literally feel like I'm in a dream because this doesn't even feel real, and I'm in just utter disbelief for the rest of the day. And I was honestly, my very first feeling was, I feel so memed on. I feel memed on. I don't feel like this is a legit thing until I saw the moveset reveal. And at that point, I was just impressed. No matter how much feeling of indignation I could have towards the fact that this ridiculous character that does not fit in with the art style of Smash, does not fit in with the general ethos of Smash, and then I watched this ridiculous moveset that the programming team at Nintendo and Sakurai have made put to life, and I'm like, this is incredible. This is actually a work of art.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, how did they do this?
Yeah, well, one thing, and maybe we're getting too ahead of ourselves, but I will always credit the Smash team's ability to merge Smash Bros. With the property that they're taking the characters from. And it seems that this time they did exactly that again, which is no surprise to me, really, but they've done such a good job of, keeping Steve grounded in Smash while also being true to Minecraft, which is awesome. But I want to take a step back to not the moveset trailer, but the initial character announcement and how we were feeling at the time. And I've said this since, if you go back and listen to the old podcasts, before Ultimate came out, King K. Rool got added to the game. That was my guy. If they add all 5 Teletubbies for the rest of the characters, I'm talking Tinky Winky, Poe. I don't remember the other ones. Wait, are there 4 Teletubbies actually?
All 5 tilts.
Whatever, you get the point. I would be okay with it. So I'm never going to be the kind of person who's like, oh, Steve, we got screwed, just because I don't have a connection to the character. But I did see a lot of people say, and you kind of actually brushed over this too, that Steve doesn't fit in with the art style of Smash. Right? There was a lot of people I don't know if I like the way this looks. And I don't really like the art style of Steve's, in Minecraft specifically. But I will say, I don't know if that was a qualm for me, because, we have characters like Mr. Game & Watch. We have characters you have Solid Snake, who's more like a Western guy. And then you have 15 different anime characters like Marth and Byleth and Hero. And there's a lot of competing art, and I think that's part of the appeal of Smash, is that you have all these conflicting art styles. I don't know if there is one art style that really reigns true on a character level anyway. I think that Steve looks cool in the Smash engine. Yeah,
and I think that's, especially especially because you weren't. I know you weren't particularly excited by that. I think that's pretty big of you to just admit that. I think there's like this huge like Smash purism, right? There's this like purism around it has to be Nintendo. There's like so many Nintendo characters people want. There's so many like different. There's so many like very specific desires that people have, and this is kind of a common thing that a lot of people ask us. It's like AVP on what is your like ultimate fighters pack 2, or like back in the day, what is your ideal fighters pack? And I could not for the life of me create one. I think you're the same. I don't want to speak for you, but like you mentioned, like you got King K. Rool, and you're like, all right, like work is done here, boys. Like, and I feel the same way. Like I think, but I think my issue with this is that I feel like eventually one of the DLC characters would resonate with me, and it would be like, okay, this is a character from my childhood, but not one out of all of the 7, I think, that have been released, not a single one has been taken from something I've actually like engaged with, or something that I've enjoyed as a kid, or something that I've played recently. Not a single one, and it feels weird. It feels kind of weird because I know a lot of people have engaged with this, and I feel like I'm unlucky. Maybe But I mean, do you fall in the same boat? Like, I mean, maybe you played Banjo-Kazooie, but like, I don't know. I just feel like none of them have actually like I really resonate with.
Yeah, I would say that I haven't got. Yeah, I love Banjo for sure, like you said, and I definitely haven't resonated with people like Terry with. I mean, Piranha Plant I resonate with, but I mean, no one really cares about Piranha Plant, let's be honest. I mean, I like Piranha Plant in Smash, but so yeah, I know I'd agree with you there, but I think that's kind of the thing, AV, is that you are a Nintendo gamer and like a kind of a PC indie gamer, you know, and I think that one thing that the Fighter Passes have done well is including characters that aren't traditionally Nintendo, but perhaps worthy of being included in sort of a, video game Hall of Fame. Terry being in so many fighting games. Certainly, Steve and Alex, because Minecraft's so popular. That's the interesting thing, actually, AV, is that a lot of people I saw, and maybe it was just a couple people that were not excited by Steve's announcement, it's kind of discrediting Steve's status, I suppose. And I kind of get it, because Minecraft, it isn't really about your character, right? It's about the things that you create. Like, it's not really a character-driven thing, as far as I understand, right? So it does seem weird. It isn't really like Steve got added, but rather Minecraft,
Right.
And I think that to say, oh wow, like I don't know. I think to suggest that he isn't worthy of being included is a little foolish, just on the mere premise that Minecraft is available on Nintendo systems, and B, it is just so popular. And ever since Brawl, really, ever since like Sonic and Snake got included in Brawl, Smash hasn't really been a celebration of Nintendo properties. It's been a celebration of gaming. And I'm frankly very happy that they are in, because I would say in Smash 4, it was like a celebration of Japanese gaming. They added Final Fantasy characters, they added, Bayonetta, right?
Yeah.
And but now, like with Banjo and Minecraft, it's pretty cool. They're making it more global, which I don't know. I think it's a cool thing, man. I think that this is, and one of my friends pointed this out to me that doesn't even play Smash. She's like, this might be like the first character that's ever been added in Smash where the character is actually bigger than Smash. Like Smash Bros. Is actually getting dwarfed by the inclusion of Minecraft Steve. Like, what other character is from a game that is bigger than Smash itself, other than like the OG Nintendo like core that were in Smash 64? I don't think that's ever happened before. Yeah,
that's kind of a new thing. It's not like King of Fighters or Banjo or Persona 5 Royals. Like none of those games were bigger than Smash. So yeah, that is a really good point. And the thing is that the point that I brought up was more of like a personal thing, right? I think it was just like I've been unlucky that I haven't had a personal connection to any of the 7 DLC characters, 8 counting Piranha Plant. And I mean, I hope that with the next 4 that I somehow hit the jackpot. I mean, I didn't like thoroughly play the Spyro or Crash Bandicoot games, but I did engage with them, so either of those would be a win for me.
I'd be down. I want the Master Chief, but now there's already 2 Minecraft or Microsoft reps. I feel like that would be
that would be ridiculous.
A bit of an ask.
If we had Master
Doom
Chief.
Guy, dude. Give me Doom Guy.
Oh my god! But
just rip Kirby in half with his bare hands.
But I kind of want to go to the moveset because that's what really excited me. Because I want to say that apart from anything else, apart from any emotional reactions to this game, when I watched the reveal trailer, I was blown away. I was like, this character breaks the game in so many ways that I have never seen the game being broken before, and I was actually kind of excited for it. And the thing is, I think this is going to legitimately shake the competitive scene up. If you played Rivals of Aether, I'm getting like massive Shovel Knight vibes in terms of the fact like the character like just operates like orthogonally to like the main game design and just kind of does his own thing.
It's so strange. Like the character can really break, like you're saying, break the game. I think that Sakurai even mentioned when he was talking about the block mechanic specifically, so Steve can jump up in the air and create blocks a la Minecraft and build floors and walls, and he can sort of construct things on every stage. And he said, like, hey, shouts to the programmers, because they had to like change every single stage to accommodate this new part of the kit. And yeah, it's like, wow, this guy's really just breaking the game. He lives by, much like you, Abhi, he marches to the beat of his own drum, right? Guitar Center or otherwise.
Yeah, and it's so cool. Like, I mean, if we get right into it, like, there's a few different weapons. There's like there's the blocks. There's the crafting. There's the minecart, which you can like power up with redstone. There's the TNT where you can like lay like a redstone path and a pressure plate to manually detonate it. And then you have like the flint and like the fire the PK fire that you can just drop on people with the light.
Oh yeah. Like I think Sakurai okay, so let's walk through it move by move because there's a lot to talk about, and I agree that in all it's the Smash team really has leveraged a lot of their creative talent in this design. Like it's just so every single move, every little thing seems very interesting and connects back to the core design of Minecraft too, which is awesome. So
yeah,
first of all, what struck me was that he has sort of tools a la Byleth, right? Where Byleth, depending on whether you're doing like upwards attacks, forward attacks, downwards attacks, she uses different weapons.
Yeah. And
it's kind of similar to that in the sense that, which doesn't exactly excite me, on premise alone, but whenever you're similar to Byleth in any way, that's when you went wrong. That's like when you have that crazy kid in your third grade class, AV, who wets himself, and he's got like he talks about like he sees ghosts, like little Billy. He's like, yeah, I had he has like paranormal experiences during math class. And then your teacher's like, yeah, AV, you were just like Billy over there. You're not in good company, AV. All right, unless of course you want to go hunt some ghosts, in which case Billy's your guy. I will say this, AV. He has a sword, a pickaxe, and also the powers of lava and magma. Those are his 3. The sword is his sort of forward smash. Also his like get up attacks, which I thought was kind of a weird like logic. And then his pickaxe is like for his forward air and back air and up tilt.
Right? No, up tilt is axe.
Oh, there's an axe and a pickaxe.
There's an axe and a pickaxe.
That's right.
Pickaxe is for dash attack. There's neutral B while not in the air or at a crafting table. So where you're kind of just mining. If you're mining rock, but the thing is, if you're mining wood, it uses a axe. If you're mining sand, it uses a shovel. If you're mining dirt, it also uses a shovel. So like your neutral bead, your mining actually uses a different tool depending on what you're actually standing over.
Can you imagine the conversations like in the Nintendo headquarters where they're arguing on like whether or not? So like, okay, so you mentioned mining, right? Like if you press neutral B when you're on the ground, Steve literally mines like a miner, not like someone who's under 18, someone whose job it is to find metals and and rocks. Can you imagine being a miner? That would be a crazy profession. Like, hey, what did you do today? Like, do you just get judged based on how many diamonds you find?
That would be terrible. Like, it's like
how many did you find today, Billy? Oh, 4. Oh, I found 6. Like, I'm 50% better than you. I am from the gold country in California, and people do pan for gold here. And I've gone, and I've actually gotten some gold before, AB.
Yeah, I think
I'm not. Me and Steve aren't so different after all.
Yeah. So, what did you make with the gold? Did you combine it with redstone to power things up?
Okay, so let's go back to the mining mechanic. Yeah. So you can walk around and you can mine things, and I find it hilarious that in Nintendo headquarters they had to have a conversation about every little square inch of every stage and say, you know what? I think iron would come from there. No, I think there's gold in there. Is that dirt? Is that wood? Like they had to literally, prospect every single inch of every single stage. But anyway, what do you think about the fact that Steve has like a true gathering mechanic? Like there'll be time where you have downtime in your match and you'll literally be mining for materials. Like does that gameplay mechanic interest you? Do you think it is practical in a competitive setting?
I'm really interested in to see how much you can actually mine when someone's pressuring you, right? Because like there's a difference if you're on like the Great Cave Offensive. First of all, I have no clue how they managed to do this for the Great Cave Offensive. That must have taken like half the time in Hyrule Temple. But
just due to like raw surface area?
Yeah, raw surface area. Also, the Great Cave Offensive probably has a bunch of different surfaces.
It literally is like a cave.
Yeah. So that's pretty crazy. But like for Standard Smash, I mean, in Battlefield and Omega variants, obviously the mining is standardized, so you don't have to worry about that. But I really want to know. It seems really lagless, but it's like, are people just going to have all this time to pick up all of these materials? Because I mean, it seemed like if you didn't have like an iron-rich surface, which Battlefield seemed like, so you're getting iron maybe like once every 4 or 5 times, like your down throw and your down air just simply don't work if you don't have iron, right?
Yeah. So in your side B, which summons your mining cart, that takes iron to summon.
Well, it takes iron. I think iron, like some of it, to create the rails, right? You can still summon the cart.
I think it takes iron. I think it takes iron to summon, and you need wood and iron for the rails.
I don't think so. I think you can summon the cart no matter what.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's for sure one of those two.
Right, but the rails require materials, and powered rails require like gold and redstone. So the thing is that a lot of we really have to see how they balance it, because I think Sakurai very clearly mentioned a lot of what you're seeing may not show up in the real game. So we have to see how they balance it. Like, will Steve players actually get time to spend mining and to spend like just chilling out in the corner? Like, where are you gonna get the time to pick up resources? Like, is that a legitimate thing?
I will say, given the fact that Steve needs to be mining for materials throughout a match, means that fundamentally he will be strongly disliked in the competitive community. Not even to play, like maybe people would like to play him, but to play against. Like, think about every other character in Smash where part of their fundamental mechanics is like doing things that don't involve fighting. Okay, Pikmin or Olimar getting the Pikmin out of the ground.
Right.
Cloud charging his limit. What are some other examples?
Villager?
Yeah, Villager planting his tree. There has to be some better examples.
Peach.
I guess turnips. Peach, searching for turnips, but I guess there has to be better. Oh, like Banjo getting his grenade out, and like anytime we're like Snake,
Snake,
yeah, Snake setting up his artillery. anytime there's like this sort of where your opponent is incentivized to not fight you, and the longer it takes for you to like get in and disrupt them, the more powerful they will have gotten. It's a really frustrating thing to play against because you have to approach, and if you approach wrong, you get punished big. So not only do you get hit, but then they get to mine even more. And so it's like you really have to play. Steve will be able to dictate the pace of the match, is what I'm saying. If this mining and crafting, we haven't gotten to crafting yet, but if the mining is fruitful enough to yield Steve rewards, the prerogative will be on Steve's opponent to approach. And like that's for Rob like getting his top out. Like just any time that this happens, it's like I hate that.
But here's two things, right? He has no out of shield options. At least from what it seems like, he has no out of shield options. Like it's just non-existent. Unless like the magma block comes out fast, which may not hit people when they on crosses.
Is up smash out of shield? You're saying?
Yeah, that's the up smash.
Yeah.
And then Steve is not mobile.
No. Yeah. Let's talk about that. His jump, his jump.
It's terrible. Yeah.
This guy, he jumps even smaller than Little Mac. I believe Sakurai said himself that his full hop is about as comparable to most characters' short hops. Like he doesn't get high off the ground, which means that he'll have a harder time trapping people's landings, intercepting people just inherently, right? Because his burst airspeed is just horrible.
Right, and that's something I think that like when you go to a lot of top players are saying this character is going to be top 15, and I think the jury's out. I don't know, man. Like just because he can he can like summon fire at the ledge, like PK fire, and drop it on you like over and over again. Just because he can like use his blocks to go out and like forward smash you or down smash you off the stage. Just because he has all of these potential abilities, can't like look over the fact that he's a very immobile character.
Yeah.
With no out of shield options and like okay range. Like I think frame data saves him. Like he has good frame data from what it seems like in terms of all of his attacks. But like I don't see how he's gonna deal with what about like projectile characters, right? All he can do is like chuck his minecart at him.
Mm-hmm. Like let's talk about the minecart actually. Yeah. So before we get into like his competitive viability, his minecart has a couple different mechanics going into it. Like one where depending on how many materials he has, it affects the potency of the minecart, right? Like if you can affect you get a little lever that makes you go super fast and you can go up hills. And you can kill people really early, it seems. If you stay in the minecart, if you jump out of the minecart, you can sort of make people ride in your minecart. And the higher percent that you're at when you get scooped up by the minecart, the more inputs that you would have to mash before you break free, right? So this is like another kind of King K. Rool or Inkling mechanic where you're in a grounded state, essentially, and you have to mash to get out of it. When I heard this, I was like, okay, people are really going to hate this character. Because if I know one thing about Smashers is that we care about our controllers. Look at this. I'm never too far without my sticks, my man. And every time you get hit by the side B, if you're with the joystick, that's just going to be annoying. I wonder how strong it's going to be. Sakurai himself said the whole thing isn't at its final state. At the time of the recording of that presentation. So who knows? It might not be that big of a deal. But if it is one of those death traps, like if you get scooped up at 70, and if you're on a character like Crom or Ike or, God forbid, Little Mac, and you just can't get back, like, that's going to be annoying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Ike lately, and I was playing this DK on Quick Play, and he killed me at like 30% because I didn't mash out of like the down throw off stage. And I really felt it.
Yeah.
I deserved it. I deserved it after all this, after all these 2 years when I've been or a year and a half. How long has this game been out?
Almost 2 years. It's 2 years, a year and 10 months. Yeah.
Yeah. So and I really felt it after all the people that I've down thrown off stage to kill them at 50. It's annoying. It's really annoying. Just getting checked off the stage and having to do this weird quick time event. It's to just get out of it. I don't know. It's weird.
I think mashing is inherently a bad mechanic. I think that this is a broad ultimate take, but I think that right now the fact that so many matchups require so much mashing, like Rob, Inkling, K. Rool, and perhaps now Steve, it's just give my. I'm an old. Look, man, I'm not getting younger. Maybe all right. My hands do not want to play Mario Party 1 every time I'm up against certain characters. But I will say, just from an idea perspective, from a visual perspective, from a gameplay perspective, I think that the minecart is very interesting outside of the mashing. I think that the whole, whether or not Steve stays in the minecart or jumps out of it and how that affects how you would respond to it as the opponent of Steve is very captivating. There's nothing else really like that in the game, where you're getting hit by a pseudo projectile that has different properties depending on whether or not someone's mounting the projectile. I guess look at Lloyd Rocket from Villager, and maybe that's the only comparison. But
right, it's a combination of Banjo's side B and Villager's side B, because the powered version hits Banjo's side B.
Yeah.
But then they can just you can carry people off of it if you just jump off of it. Yeah, so I feel like it's a very unique mechanic. Everything about Steve is super unique. You could really tell the love that they gave to this character, even though it looked like Sakurai wasn't too psyched about it. It's someone came.
Okay, I hear people saying that. He looked hyped. What are you talking about?
No, but
he looked excited. He was
he was talking about how, he says that if he can't reliably bring a character to life, he'll tell him no. And if he thinks he can do it, he'll tell him yes. But with Steve, he said, I can technically do this. And he said, I can do this. If you really want me to, I can do this. But it's but he was kind of hinting at the fact that this will be a very, very big effort. It's going to be huge. It's not just going. It's he mentioned the character is not complicated at all. The voicing, there's no voices. This character doesn't have any voices. There's no.
Does Steve have voices in Minecraft?
No, I don't think so.
It'd be funny if Sakurai just gave him one. Hey, I'm Steve. What if they bring the guy from Blue's Clues back?
Oh my god. Yeah, and that's the thing. We don't have Blue's Clues. We don't need to rehire Steve from Blue's Clues.
Look, he's out of a job. He got kicked off his show.
Did he really? I don't
he went to college. If I remember.
I think he unfortunately left under some less than ideal circumstances. But
wait. Do you have dirt on Steve from Blue's Clues? Tell us the scoop. What happened?
I think he was a drug addict.
Oh,
it's either that or Barney.
Awful. Now I'm feeling blue, baby.
Is that or Barney? I think pretty sure Steve was he. I mean, the thing is to be excited about that
Jesus.
job. I don't know. I was gonna say it. You
Why did he tell me that? AB?
You forced my hand, man. I don't know.
Oh my
dude. All right. Well, point being is that
I'm gonna go wash my hands now. You make me feel dragging me through the mud.
What if you drag? You're crying out.
I thought you had some. I thought you had some hot gossip. You're telling me some tragic Now I want to go intervene on our boy Steve.
What hot gossip do you think that I'm going to give on why you left this show? Why can it be good? It can't be good. It can't be anything good.
Maybe he works at Disneyland. He's maybe he started a film. I don't know.
He started a Silicon Valley startup. He brushed off on his engineer. No.
Wait, was he involved in the film Blue is the Warmest Color? Was that his spinoff?
I really don't think so. Isn't that Sundance film or something like?
Well, I think it won some awards at Sundance. Have you seen the film? Blue is the Orange
Club. No, I've not.
It's a bit strange. It's shrouded in controversy, a lot of gossip. I'm surprised you don't know a thing or two about it.
I mean, I've heard of it, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, well, like the whole thing. Maybe this is not the time nor the place. It was an interesting watch. I'll give you that. It was very French. But we talked a bit about the mining mechanics within, Steve's kit. But what can he do with the materials that he mines? So we still haven't really answered that question. I assume most of you guys have watched his moveset, trailer, but I was blown away. And I suppose it makes sense. It is mine craft, right? You mine, there needs to be a craft. The depth of the crafting system seems perfect for the game. So basically you have a gauge that shows all the materials you mine, right? Which is there's like dirt, wood, iron, gold, and then diamonds, and then there's also redstone. And I'm gonna say something, okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pour one out for my homie Redstone because there's a gauge that has every single material listed, and Sakurai's like, yeah, except but the redstone isn't on there. Like, well, why not? Like, why didn't redstone make the gauge? That made no sense to me.
Yeah, that was a little weird. I thought it'd like get its own like indicator along gold and diamond because like
why not? Especially because redstone is required for at least for certain things. Specifically, if you do side B with your minecart, it's an empowered version, provided that you have a redstone in your pocket.
You need redstone and gold. Yeah.
Well, right, but I'm just saying that's one of the ingredients you must have. It's a prerequisite to have the empowered sidecart. Yet there's no visual indication, despite every other material being visually indicated.
Yeah.
That if in the final cut that isn't addressed, I'll be extremely surprised. And I don't know. Maybe as a ginger AV, I'm taking this a bit personally.
Oh yeah, that's probably it.
No, but so one thing that I was happy to see about the crafting system is there is this little like work desk. There's this little table that is behind the fighting platform at the location in which you spawn in initially when the game starts. And you can always go back there anytime and just press B, it's your neutral B, and you'll just make versions of all of your tools, like the pickaxe, the axe, the shovel, the sword, will be upgraded to their maximum possible form, provided you have the materials required, right? It'll only use what you have mined. And it's very simple and elegant. And I loved that, right? I love that. I don't want to be messing with menus. Like, I hate Hero because whenever I press down B, I have to like scroll through a menu. It's like, it's just not fun for me. You just press the button and boom, you have a shinier sword. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's amazing game design. Again, I want to reiterate, this character is designed beautifully. It does that beautiful callback that Sakurai has implemented into all of these characters. Sakurai and the development team. I think everyone just gives Sakurai so much credit. There's only so much Sakurai can do. I think the entire team has done an amazing job of delivering this character's life to it. And I think the crafting table is not overly complicated. I'm glad they didn't make it overly complicated because they realized a bunch of really small kids are going to come and start playing this game because they love Minecraft, and you want to be able to like let them like bring their dreams to reality, right? You don't want to like implement overly complicated mechanics. On the other hand, you do want to be able to like have these more like, I feel like everything complicated about the character is more like in how everything works together and not necessarily about the mechanics themselves, right? It's like everything is pretty straightforward about the way that it's implemented, but like it's like in terms of like ledge trapping, like you place blocks and you place a pressure plate and a TNT right here, and then you throw some lava or you place a magma block above. You're like there's so many of these different traps and situations you can create with the tools given to you, but actually executing any of these is not really hard, which is really nice, I think.
Yeah. it really feels like a sandbox character, and I think that's the brilliant thing that they've managed to create, is that they've given a lot of, like you're saying, simple tools, but they say, hey, use them how you will. And the way that all the different core aspects of the character interplay with the other aspects is very evocative of the sandbox that Minecraft the game is, right? And that's brilliant. It really, really is. It's genius. Another quick thing I thought about when I was first watching like the moveset trailer was like, okay, but wouldn't that suck if when you spawned in, like right when you appeared on the stage and the crafting booth was right behind like the only vein on the stage that has like gold or diamonds in it. And in my head I was like, I wonder if they're gonna like do the Inkling, shield and B button. It's only on Inkling where if you're shield, you press B, that's how you recharge your ink. And they're gonna bring that input sequence back, that sort of combo buttons back, to relocate the crafting table. Okay, I'm telling you, I called this in my head, and sure enough, Sapphire confirmed that you can move the crafting table around the stage with you, which is cool. I like that. It's just a simple, like the whole like press B while you're shielding is a genius. Like if they make a Smash 6, I think that they should add that type of functionality to a lot of the characters, because it's an awesome. I don't know. It's just one extra move every character can have. I think it's cool.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that like that's one thing that a lot of like fighting games have, is this like rich complexity with like the types of moves you can do. It's like you have all these combinations that you can put together to create these moves. So in a lot of the Street Fighter like more classical 2D fighters, you have a lot of complexity with a lot of them and so many different moves. Whereas Smash, it's always been like, you have these moves, now put them together, right? Like be really creative in the ways that you put them together, because you have this weird physics that changes based off of how many times you've been hit. So like that, so that's always like provided the complexity instead of needing to like worry about like executing really complex specific inputs to even perform your move. But yeah, so I do feel like there's like a little place for like maybe like a shield B on every character.
Yeah, because I think that in the design language of Smash, like A does everything, and then if you do the same input as you would with A, if you up an A, if you do up and B, that also does something. If you do down an A, down a B also does something. Like this, it's all about using A and a direction, or in the case of the A button, if you press A and shield, you grab. So A, I think shield and B should also be something. I don't know what, but I think it's cool that Steve has that. He kind of just has one extra little functionality. No, AV, I've been a bit of a critic on a lot of the DLC characters' designs from a gameplay perspective. Specifically in reference to complexity creep. I don't like complexity in games. All right. I like depth in games, and they're not the same at all. AV, you and I play a game called League of Legends. Prime example of complexity creep over the years, where and a lot of listeners I'm sure have dabbled with League, or if you haven't, I'll explain. When the game first came out, all the characters were very simple in their design. Like, they have 4 moves, and when the game first came out, it was like the first move does damage, the second move for this character is a stun, and the third move is like a heal, and it was like really basic, but it was still extremely deep because the game was about interplay between characters and how you cooperate with your teammate to out-strategize the enemies, right? And Smash is a very simple game at the core of it, especially, like look at something like Melee, where all the characters have, 10 moves or so, and it's just like sumo wrestling with Nintendo characters. But there's a lot of depth because a lot of the moves, do different things in different scenarios, and you're thinking about what your opponent's habits are and how their character interacts with your character, and how every move has like certain properties that you can know about and exploit. But complexity is just like, when it takes paragraphs to define what every little move can do or could do or would do, That's just complexity. It's like, we've been talking about Steve's kit for like 35 minutes now because it's so cool, but it's also pretty complex. Like there's, if I had to like recommend to a new player, hey, should I play Kirby, the character that just kind of sucks people up and then punches people, or Steve that, he mines, but only if make sure you're standing on a part of the stage that looks like might have iron underneath it, and then also like, oh, you want to have the improved like diamond sword? Well, you need to have a diamond and some gold, and it's like, what the hell? What the hell is happening? Like, can I just punch the guy, right? And for people like us who have, who won't be intimidated by the complexity because we enjoy the game, we've been around for a while. Cool, some more stuff to play with. But are you afraid, AB, that they've gone a bit too complicated here? Like, for the average Smasher, for the average person like who goes over to your friend's house to play Smash, is Steve just kind of like, okay, yeah, that's like. Is he just too complicated to bother?
I'll say no. I'll say this because you can go to training mode and do every complicated thing that Steve can do, you can go into training mode and do it. Like,
yeah, but not if you're like my girlfriend's little sister or something.
Right.
She's not going to go to training mode.
Right. But I mean, obviously, you're not going to recommend Joker to your girlfriend's little sister. You're not going to recommend Olimar to your girlfriend's little sister. You're not going to recommend like maybe not like any of like the extremely like complex characters.
I mean, Joker's not that complicated, but
well,
I suppose the whole Arsene thing is a little bit of a wrinkle. But
right.
Either way, I don't mean to derail you.
But like, I think Steve. But I actually think that there's kind of a different level to that in the sense that the reason that new people like Kirby isn't because Kirby is really straightforward, it's because like Kirby has like really intuitive moves. Like Kirby's down B makes you invincible and then hits really hard. Like that's why people like Kirby. Like Kirby sucks you in and like it's like a really big suck radius and it just like you if you're even caught off guard, like it's just like one or two intuitive moves is kind of all it takes. I don't think
you nailed it. Intuition. That's it. When I look at Steve, okay, so his forward air is a spike. He wiggles this little pixelated pickaxe, and then whoop, people just get dunked as if like Dr. Mario just hit him with the haymaker. Like I don't know. Like for me, the animations don't really match up. Like the cause and effect of what Steve's actually doing physically versus what happens once Steve lands an attack. It's like, whoa, it's a bit of a disconnect for me. And additionally, it's like, okay, like if I'm teaching someone to play the game and they're like, hey, what does my B button do? That's like the classic answer. What happens if I press forward smash? What happens if I press like B? It's like, well, it'll mine.
Yeah,
you'll craft.
It'll be slightly faster if you have the gold sword.
yeah. What the hell? It'll be a block if you're in the air. Yeah. And then you can build the block provided you have certain materials. It's just kind of, it's a lot. It's a mouthful.
But here's the thing. Like everyone who's played Minecraft in their life, they'll be like, oh, this is so cool. Like there's so many things I was like, oh, this makes sense. And a lot of people have played Minecraft. In
fact, my girlfriend's little sister played Minecraft.
Exactly. And they'll see this and they'll be like, okay, this is starting to make sense in my brain. And I think that's why they were allowed to make it so complicated. Because consider the reality in which Steve wasn't a complicated character. What would Steve do, right? If Steve was just like a standard like Banjo-esque character or like Ike-esque character, like what? Steve just like hits people with a sword and it makes Steve like a sword character that's just pixelated.
You're absolutely right. I mean, to be Steve, you would need to have some sort of mining and crafting system. I mean, it's Minecraft.
Yeah.
So I'm with you there. I think that they primarily have to serve the character, right? If they're going to, provided that we understand the character is inevitably going to be included, they have to service the character. I'm just saying, from a competitive fighting games perspective, right? And you and I are competitive players. I don't think that the game should service the characters. I think the characters should service the game. And I think when you add a character whose hitboxes don't at all match up with what they intuitively would be, it's not great game design, at least from our perspective. I think not everything has to be from our perspective. I'm not so selfish. But I want to at least mention that I don't think that Steve, while I think competitively is interesting, because I think seeing how different people play him and the setups and traps and the way people will be able to like edgeguard and gimp with his block building off stage, and he certainly provides a breath of fresh air at the very least, and that is mentionable. That is noteworthy, but he seems kind of cheesy and gimmicky, and his hitboxes are very unintuitive. And I think like in a year and a half, people are gonna hate playing against Steve. That's all I'm saying. I'm just speaking the truth.
Yeah, I don't.
You heard it here first.
I don't disagree with you. I think he's well executed as far as like inspiration from the game. I think that he's a very campy character by necessity. He's a character that's required to camp at night and form tents and fight against creepers and zombies and skeletons. But I think above all this, yes, you're right. He is the victim of complexity creep, but also the beneficiary of complexity creep. If complexity creep is something that is expected out of DLC and expected out of game design in the later stages of a game, he is the perfect beneficiary of that, right? If you're going to expect this and you're going to say, I will admit that we need to have complexity creep in DLC, because simple, just like what if you just published Ike? What if Ike was DLC, right? like I mean, I love Ike. Yeah. I've been playing him for the last month, but like if Ike was DLC, people would be like, that's it. Like it would be even worse than Byleth or Corrin or Robin. People would just be like, all right, dude with a sword, like he hits really hard sometimes. Like he can do nair up air. Like it's like you need, in order to catch people's attention, you need like to obstruct the percentage bar and just throw a bunch of you need to have like some kind of resource. Isn't that kind of funny? Like you have with Terry, you have like the go thing. Banjo, you have the feathers. Joker, you have like
Wonder Wing,
the Arsene gauge. Now Steve, you have like you have
minerals and material, but no red gem. But no red gem. Where the hell's the red gem?
They're discriminating against you. But above all of this, I think you're right. I think you're right. He's the output of power creep. That being said, a lot of people have said that he is going to be top 15 in this game. He's going to be a really strong character in this game. I personally disagree. Where are you at with him?
So every time a new character is announced and we're in this period, like right before the character is released, we always speculate. And AV, I was watching this. I was watching the presidential and vice presidential debates recently, and what I've realized is sometimes it's okay to be like, that's a good question. I don't know, right? It's better to say you don't know than to give a non-answer, right? And I'm going to confidently say, Abhi, I have no idea. Steve is one of those conundrums in my head right now in terms of he could be the worst character ever or like broken. Like it remains to be seen just how relevant his like offstage block building will be in terms of gimping characters. It remains to be seen how his down tilt, like you were saying earlier, is kind of PK Fire-esque down tilt, will intercept people at the ledge and the kind of pseudo 2-frame, really just edge guard. Also, I want to point out, Sakurai said that the down tilt is slightly affected by gravity. How can you be slightly affected by gravity? Either you are or you aren't affected by gravity. Is this like a flat Earth? Like is he setting signs to the flat Earth community? Maybe?
Yeah, I think he is because everything is affected by gravity in the same way. There's no there's the universal law of gravity, which is the relationship between the mass of two things. Like I don't.
But even in the game of Smash, right? Like either things are affected by gravity or aren't.
Yeah.
Either way.
I appreciate your nitpick on that. I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Thank you. But for me, his viability comes down to values. Like how much will it matter if you have a wooden sword versus a diamond sword? How realistic is it for you to have, high uptime on your more valuable, like constructed gear, and when it comes to like the stages that you're playing on, the competitive stages, he said that the Omega forms are regulated, but he didn't mention anything about like Smashville and Town and City, where the stages are just wooden, like it's literally just a floating log. If you can just never get iron on those stages, are you just screwed?
Yeah, he might.
I don't know.
Yeah, he might suck on Smashville and Town and City, which is a huge part of the competitive game. And if Steve is going to be forced to ban Smashville and Town and City, that might be a huge problem for him. I mean, maybe he'll really like Lilat because that's probably all iron. So Lilat might be a really good stage for him. And
it's just weird to me. There's too many unknowns.
Yeah, exactly. There are too many unknowns, and Sakurai said so many parts of the character may not even be like the same by the time that he launches. So,
I think that the good fix to this, like the solution to making to make Steve and Alex, I suppose, more universally viable, would to do a sort of a midway between what they're doing with the Omega stages and every other stage, where on every other stage that isn't Omega formed, you mine based on where you're standing on the stage and what materials would intuitively be retrieved from said locations. On the Omega forms, it's standardized. If there was sort of like a middle ground between that, always like a floating, like, hey, if I'm on wood, there's a greater chance you'll receive wood, but you also still could find some iron or some red stones or some gold underneath, where, fair enough. I think that'd be a good compromise. It's still intuitive, but it doesn't ever like hard lock you out of getting iron or other materials. As long as I'm understanding this correctly, I think that would be a good compromise, but who knows? Who knows?
Well, wait, you're saying that like as long like if you were on like Smashville and Town and City, there's a chance of getting iron.
Yeah, isn't there? Or there isn't right now, right? If it's wooden.
Well, we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, but it seems like it would be just wooden.
Wooden,
but I mean,
right?
in reality,
he said on Corneria you would only get iron.
But I mean, in Animal Crossing, you can mine for iron, so it's not totally
true,
out of the question.
But you have to bang into the rocks.
Bang into the rocks. What if you just put
in...
rocks on Animal? Like, what if they had to change the stage? Put some rocks on there. But yeah. But I mean, on the Omega and Battlefield versions of every stage, it is the same no matter what. Like so. Maybe if you could toggle that on like in a competitive mode where you could standardize the, I don't know, because I just think that. But the thing is that it's the same with the Omega and standard, with the Omega and FD versions, like you'll always get iron. You'll always get iron no matter what.
Yeah. I'm with you.
But you want to toggle it on every stage.
It would be a nice thing to have, because like what if we're in those situations where if I'm in a rule set with two bans, guess what? I'm banning FD and Battlefield every time, or I mean, who knows? Who knows how it'll all play out? Maybe like Lilat will be really
right. Yeah, it's like Lilat's probably good for him because he likes to just get iron of everything, just like down air. Let's just do like spam down air, like. So I think there'll be some work. There'll be some workarounds that Steve Mains will have. But
imagine if there's no DSR, imagine if there is DSR, and meaning that if you win on a stage, you can't go back to that stage. So let's say Steve wins his first two games in a best of 5, okay, and now he has 3 games in the set remaining, where his opponent bans like all the stages where he could either get like Omega forms, or where he gets a whole bunch of iron. So now he has to play on wood for 3 games or something like that. It's just silly. I have no idea what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
And I have no idea. For me, the character might be nuts. His lack of range in general concerns me. His lack of mobility in general concerns me. And but I think his tricks and his utility remain to really be optimized and implemented.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
His viability is going to be entirely dependent on the values of how much all of this unique stuff matters, and just how deadly his utility can be once implemented.
I absolutely agree. I really don't think I have anything to add there. I don't think I can give a legitimate Prediction of the future, I think he's going to be very middling, though. I really don't think he's going to be that good.
You just said you couldn't place him, then you said he wouldn't be that good.
Well, I said initially, before you said all of this, I said I don't agree with the top 15. I said...
Oh, okay.
So, I don't think he'll be top 15. That's my non-bold prediction. I just don't think he'll be top 15.
All right, man. Well, in terms of who do you think is going to play the characters, I always like to look at this. Like, I look at characters perhaps a bit unromantically, where I look at them as a sum of their tools, the sum of how they can be used and utilized. And I wonder what type of competitor is a Steve player? Like, who's going to pilot this bad boy, AV?
I legitimately don't know. Like, maybe DeBuzz.
I think people that like to set up, like the Olimar type players, maybe the Toon Links, the Young Links, people who like to have a little bit of setup and then really have that pay off, the Rosas and the Lumas. So I agree with your DeBuzz analysis. Plus, he's smart enough to really, I think, utilize all of the tools that the character will have to offer. But yeah, people in those veins, like Rob players, people who like to set up and then have a big payoff.
You also have to be like a huge memer. Like, you can't like if you're playing Steve, like, you have to like. I just think that's gonna be huge, like, pushback for a lot of like pro players, is that playing Steve is just going to be a huge meme. Like, a lot of times your brand is like the character that you play, and so if your brand is Steve, like, that's a little rough, man. Like, if you're like known as the Steve main, like.
I also just like that his name is Steve, which is such a regular name. Yeah. I don't know how many people that like are Smashers that their name is Steve, and they also play Steve. If they made a character named Dane or Peon, I suppose I would definitely try him out.
Like the Peon.
I will say
Peon
this
from Warcraft. They put the Peon in.
That would be incredible, dude. That's a character with a pickaxe that I could get behind. The funny thing is, Avi, everybody listening, us included, are going to die because Minecraft Steve just made like a wall of blocks that prevented us from recovering.
I hate it already. I don't want to. I don't accept your reality, Peon. I don't accept this.
You sound like a sovereign citizen.
My God.
Do you know about sovereign citizens, AV?
No.
They're the people that like walk around and they say that they're like not a part of any one nation, and they are their own. They're like, my body is an entity, and I do not belong to this jurisdiction of your land. I like they claim that they themselves are a country, like an independent body.
Maybe I should do that. I'm kind of down with
that. You're sold on the ideology.
It didn't take much. It didn't take much at all. But yeah, I think Steve is a well executed character. Very strange. Not gonna be fun to play against. Good design from a lot of people. A lot of people are gonna love him. More people are gonna hate him, even though somehow the player base of Minecraft is greater than Smash, as you mentioned. That was a really cool point. I do want to shout out that point because that was really cool. But yeah, there's so many things running around here.
I really am excited to see if Steve brings in a new fan base into Smash. I think if ever Smash could benefit from the introduction of a new fan base, Minecraft is it, because I think it's sort of an all ages fan base, right? There's adults that really get into it. There's kids. It's a game for everybody.
Yeah.
As is Smash. So I think there's a lot of natural crossover there. And plus, it's also just kind of an innocent, fun game in the same vein that Smash is. And there's just so many damn people playing the game, Minecraft, that I think that we'll for sure see at least some influx of new players, which excites me, of course. But AV, I think that's kind of all I have to say about Steve right now. Do you have anything before we head out?
No, I think we've both said our share on the issue, and I'm actually really excited. I'm legitimately excited because we were both very clueless on where he's actually gonna land when he comes out in 5 days.
Yeah, we gotta do like a blind Steve battle.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We should somehow put it on like YouTube or on the next podcast. Just you and me. We never even go in training mode. We just fight Steve versus Steve. No practice.
Right,
we just download the character and brawl.
All right, I'll wait for you, man. We'll do it.
I feel like we just like saved each other for like our wedding night.
Yeah,
like this is like something.
For Steve virginity. That's so weird.
All right. Okay. Whew, something. That's actually like because of your earlier little gossip, but that was actually like the second darkest Steve related thing in this episode. Of course, like our Steve virginity pales in gravity compared to our homie from the Blues Clues. His battle with.
I mean, it's hard.
Do you know which drug it was?
I don't know, man. What does that change? I mean, it does change a lot.
Well, because like in Breaking Bad, the meth was blue.
Oh my god!
Is this like a conspiracy? Is this all connected?
No, I really hope he's doing okay. I hope he's fought through that part of his life, do you? I do. He seemed like a nice guy. I love Blue's Clues. As a kid, I loved Blue's Clues. I really hope that he's given me a lot of happiness when I was young, and look, I wish that same happiness on him. You know,
I would credit Steve and the rest of the Blue's Clues creators, because on that television show, there was a moment where they went through different colors. Like, okay, if you mix yellow and blue, what do you get? You get green. If you mix orange and red, what do you get? Vermilion. And I was like, that's like my hair. That's kind of orange and red. So when I was like 5 years old, and people would be like, Dane, why, your hair is orange, and I'd be like, no, it's vermilion.
Your hair's not vermilion.
Oh, whatever. Now you're starting beef with me and Steve. First of all, you like Steve. Now you're contradicting Steve. Which one is it, AB?
Your hair's not orange and red.
What do you mean? Yeah, well, okay, AB. The point of the story was I was a 5-year-old using the word vermilion. Okay, I want to debate with.
That's pretty cool.
I know it's not vermilion, AB. I was 5.
Your 5-year-old dude didn't want to debate with 24-year-old pedantic Indian dudes. I'll feel you. I feel you on that one. But yeah, this was great. I'm honestly really excited. And I think that I think that we just have to see what happens when he comes out, because he could be totally different when he comes out. He could break the game. He could be useless. So we're gonna sit right on that fence, and we're gonna ride that fence into the sunset.
Yeah, I'm really curious if he's good. But we'll definitely get there once Steve comes out officially. We'll break him down. We'll talk about our what we actually think about his play style and his viability and all that. When we get there, I'm looking forward to it. AV, I think that's about all the time we have for this week. If you guys want to send us some questions, go ahead in the Discord that I mentioned earlier in this episode, and go to Podcast Ask Questions. We have a backlog of questions, but this episode's already ran a bit long, and AV, I think we just wanted to talk. It's been so long that we had a podcast. We just wanted to talk to each other. But yeah, guys, please submit your questions there. Would love to answer them. Also, if you'd like, shoot AV and I a little email, beyondthemetagame@gmail.com. It's the show, beyondthemetagame@gmail.com. We get a lot of emails from you guys, and I always love them, so keep sending them. AV, where can people find you, my friend?
People can find me at A plus my long Indian last name. It's A Vaidyanatha on Twitter. But the thing is that you probably don't know how to spell it, and there's probably no one who's actually come to my Twitter from this show.
I noticed you have 5 followers, AV, and 3 of them are just your name but spelled differently.
Yeah, and then we have I have one follower called Serpent.
Yeah, that's your alter ego, AV. I noticed that one too.
But yeah, I don't have that many followers.
Which means in reality you have 0 followers, AV. I unfollowed you.
Is following myself negative followers? Like, is that a thing?
No, they just don't count.
They just don't count. Okay.
I unfollowed you, AV, because all you would tweet about is different like lectures on the mind and on the brass fittings and
brass
a lot of like metalworking, and I just couldn't. I was bored, man.
You were bored.
So like the
you didn't like my brass molds. You like the. You know, like the precision, the tolerances on brass engineering.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Well, the thing is, if you want to see some brass engineering, you come down to my Twitter. Join my other 5 followers, 3 of which are myself. But even better, if you want to go to a legitimate Twitter, please go to the Beyond a Metagame Twitter, which I am having a bout of amnesia right now, but Peon, I think, can fill me in on where.
Allow me to step in there, big boy. Okay, so guys, the BTM Twitter is at Beyond Metagame. You heard me, at Beyond Metagame. The show you're currently listening to is called Beyond the Metagame. I get it. Twitter has a very strict character limit. I only found out after an unfortunate blunder. They just don't give a damn. But from there, you can find me at Peon_BTM. That's Peon_BTM. That's Bravo, Tango, Mike, for all of you diners. We all dine. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having us back. It's been fun, AV. Expect some more episodes in the near future. Season 6 is off and running. Hope you're all doing well. I'm sure, AV, you want to echo that. You haven't talked to people, AV. You want to send a message to people?
I love y'all. Keep coming to Discord. I'm really glad that if you're listening now, you've stuck with us. We're back we're back and running. COVID's taking a toll on all of us, and I really hope that you and your families are doing okay. You friends' families doing okay. We're hanging in there, and we'll try to keep the content train rolling.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and goodbye. This episode was brought in part due to the support of our patrons: BK Otter, Ferris, Robiert, Ultimate, Ampersand, Campbell Soups, Danderson, Eagle, Hydra, Spencer, Dean Guy, Two Tacos, Butta, Cerezy, Cerebro, Donut, Danny Boy, Dubai Poison, Edson, Parts Daily, Garalad, Kyle the Hero, Minlo, Raya Sensei, Ringo, Rhubarb the Dog, and Westchester.